Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You know, we always like to go deep.
Oh, yeah.
And today, we're going to be looking at a topic that I think a lot of people are going to find really interesting.
Okay.
And I'm excited to have you here to kind of walk through this with me.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So basically, we're flipping the script on a lot of the narratives that surround young men.
Okay.
And we're going to be looking at 10 examples of guys who really radiate this joy, resilience, and positivity. And it's really, I think, a breath of fresh air.
I agree.
So we're pulling from a collection of stories and snippets that highlight these qualities. And I think this is going to be fun.
I think so, too.
So are you ready?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. So first up, we have Ryan Hickman, who I think a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah.
This kid who started a recycling business as a young boy, collecting cans and bottles, but he donates all of his earnings to charity.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It really is.
Like, what drives that level of selflessness at such a young age?
It's amazing.
I mean, it's not about pocket money for him. It's about making a tangible difference.
Right.
And the ripple effect.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine all those kids out there who see his story and think, hey, I can do that too.
It's infectious. I mean, his enthusiasm is so contagious.
It really is.
It's like he reminds us that. Finding joy in making a positive impact, that's where the magic is.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of positive impact,
Okay.
let's talk about Keanu Reeves. Now, focusing on his childhood, we know it wasn't easy.
Right. Definitely not a walk in the park.
But now, he's known for his kindness and generosity.
It's easy to kind of draw a straight line.
Yeah.
From his difficult childhood to his generosity. But I wonder if it's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Perhaps it's about how he chose to process those experiences. Like he took those hardships and transformed them into empathy.
I like that. It challenges this assumption that a difficult past equals negativity.
Yeah.
Instead, it's about resilience. Choosing kindness even when life is throwing you curveballs. I love that.
Which brings us to Spencer West.
Okay.
Another example of resilience.
Yeah.
I mean, losing your legs at a young age is one thing.
Right.
But then climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
It's unbelievable.
Talk about refusing to let circumstances define you.
And not just climbing the mountain, but doing it with such humor and determination.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, where does that inner strength come from, It's almost like he's turned those challenges into fuel to achieve something extraordinary.
It's inspiring. So now let's talk about Jordan Reeves.
Okay.
Born with a partial arm. He's channeled that experience into something incredible.
It's really quite fascinating how he's taken what some might perceive as a limitation and turned it into this driving force. He's using his passion for design and technology to create and improve prosthetics for children.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's like he's combined this problem solving with compassion.
Absolutely.
And it's so inspiring to see him, turn a potential negative into a force for good.
Yeah. And this reminds me of Aidan Dwyer.
Oh, yeah.
Who also embodies that problem solving spirit. His innovative solar panel design, stemming from a simple school project, just blows my mind.
It really highlights the potential that exists in every corner.
Yeah.
Even a school project.
Right.
That aha moment, that spark of curiosity can lead to incredible innovation.
Yeah.
And ultimately to joy.
So true. Speaking of impactful discoveries, Jack Andraka, who at just 15 developed a new way to detect pancreatic cancer.
It's amazing.
What do you think was the driving force behind that?
I think it's that primal need we all have to make a difference, to leave the world a little better than we found it.
Yeah.
And that kind of dedication, that drive to contribute something meaningful, it just radiates joy.
It does. It's like this internal compass, guiding him towards a goal larger than himself.
Right. It speaks to the power of pursuing a passion with your whole heart.
I love that. Okay.
Oh.
So let's look at Malala Yousafzai, specifically his childhood, before his well-known activism. I think it's important to remember that these journeys start long before the accolades. Even as a young boy, Malala had this incredible love for learning, this positive attitude that would later fuel his fight for education.
It wasn't just about advocating for a cause. It was this deep-seated joy in knowledge itself.
Yeah.
It's like education was his playground. And that unwavering dedication, that spark, that's where his joy was rooted.
It reminds us that joy can be found in fighting for something you believe in, advocating for justice and equality.
Powerful stuff.
For a story that tugs at the heartstrings, Miles, Spider-Man Morales. You familiar with him?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Everyone knows Spider-Man.
It's a powerful reminder of how community and compassion can create moments of pure joy, even in the face of hardship.
Absolutely. His Make-A-Wish experience as Spider-Man brought joy not only to himself, but to countless others.
It gets me every time. It reminds us that even in difficult circumstances, there's still room for connection and shared joy. And this theme of compassion isn't limited to extraordinary cases like Miles.
Right.
We see it every day in boys all over the world who dedicate their time and energy to helping others.
It's those simple acts of kindness that have a ripple effect, spreading joy and positivity.
It's true.
Holding a door open, offering a kind word. These seemingly small gestures can brighten someone's day.
You're right. It's a reminder that happiness doesn't always require these grand gestures.
Yeah.
Speaking of simple joys, we can't forget the universal language of play.
Ah, yes. The spirit of playful boys everywhere, that unadulterated joy in running, jumping, laughing, completely immersed in the moment. Whether it's sports, video games, or just goofing around with friends, it's about embracing those moments of pure, uninhibited fun.
And it's something we can all learn from, isn't it?
I think so.
Remembering to find joy in the simple things, living in the moment.
It's so important.
You know, it's fascinating how these examples showcase such a diverse range of expressions of joy, resilience, and positivity.
It really challenges the idea that there's only one way to be a happy and successful young man.
Right.
It's about celebrating individuality.
Right.
Recognizing that strength and happiness come in countless forms.
Yeah, and it's a powerful message, not just for young boys, but for all of us.
Absolutely.
So as we move into the next part of our deep dive, I want
Yeah.
you to consider this. What is it about these young men that allows them to not only experience joy, but to inspire it in others?
That's a great question, I think. It's their authenticity, you know?
Yeah.
They're driven by genuine passion, not just external rewards, whether it's Ryan's dedication to the environment or Malala's love for learning. They're not chasing recognition. They're following their internal compass.
You hit the nail on the head there. They found their purpose and it shines through in their actions. But it goes beyond just their personal happiness. They radiate that joy outwards, inspiring others. It's like a ripple effect, you know?
Yeah.
Their positive energy becomes contagious.
Precisely. Seeing someone genuinely passionate about something makes you want to go out and find and pursue your own passions with that same fire.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we all have that potential, regardless of our circumstances. And I think there's another layer here,
Okay, what's that?
this shattering of stereotypes.
Oh, tell me more about that.
By showcasing these diverse expressions of joy and resilience, we challenge those limiting and often harmful expectations of masculinity.
You know, it's like we're saying, hey, there's no single mold for being a boy or a man.
Yeah.
You know, embrace your individuality, find your own path, and let that joy shine through.
And that message is resonating. We're seeing a shift, a movement of young men rejecting these outdated norms and embracing vulnerability, empathy, and compassion.
I mean, it speaks to a deeper longing for connection and authenticity.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're showing us that strength and sensitivity aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other, creating a more well-rounded and fulfilling life.
Totally. But let's not forget the role of community in all of this.
You're so right. The impact of a supportive and encouraging environment can't be understated. Whether it's family, friends, mentors, or even online communities, having that network of people who believe in you makes all the difference.
You know, it's like having your own personal cheering section, pushing you to be your best self, offering support during tough times, reminding you that you're not alone, especially for young men facing self-doubt or societal pressures. That sense of belonging, of being seen and valued, is incredibly empowering.
It creates a safe space for exploration, risk-taking, and embracing individuality, which is where true growth and happiness flourish.
So true. So what can we as listeners take away from these inspiring examples?
That's a great question. The biggest takeaway for me is that joy, resilience, and positivity aren't just these lofty ideals. They're qualities we can cultivate in our own lives and inspire in others.
I love that. It's about recognizing those qualities in ourselves and celebrating them, finding what sparks joy and pursuing it with passion, building strong, supportive communities where authenticity and growth are encouraged.
Yes, and remembering that happiness isn't a destination, but a journey. It's embracing the ups and downs, learning from experiences, and choosing to focus on the positive.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want you to reflect on the young men in your life.
Okay.
Sons, brothers, friends, students. What can you do to encourage their joy, resilience, and positivity?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves. How can
Yeah.
we create environments where these young men feel safe to be themselves and pursue their passions? Because ultimately, the future depends on raising a generation that's not just capable, but also joyful, resilient, and positive.
Sometimes I think the simplest actions can have the most impact. Just
Yeah.
imagine the power of truly listening to a young man, hearing his hopes and dreams. That act alone can make him feel seen and validated.
Absolutely. Active listening is a superpower that we often underestimate. Putting aside our own biases and agendas to truly tune in to what the other person is saying, both the words and the emotions behind them.
And it's not always about offering solutions.
Right.
Or advice.
Right.
Sometimes it's just about creating that safe space for expression without judgment, especially for young men who are often taught to suppress their emotions.
Yeah.
This can be incredibly empowering.
Encouraging emotional intelligence is so crucial. Helping them understand and manage their emotions in healthy ways
Yeah.
empowers them to navigate life's challenges with greater resilience and empathy.
And it's not just about talking, it's about leading by example.
Right.
We need to model those qualities we want to see in young men.
Yeah.
Joy, resilience, positivity, compassion.
Couldn't agree more. Children are incredibly perceptive. They're picking up on
Yeah.
even the most subtle attitudes and behaviors. If we want them to embrace joy, we need to embody it. If we want them to be resilient, we need to show them how to bounce back. And if we want them to be positive, we need to cultivate that outlook in our own lives.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with us. Which brings us back to your earlier question.
Oh, yeah.
What simple action can we take today to cultivate more joy in our own lives or inspire it in others?
It's a question worth some serious reflection. Maybe it's reaching out to a young man in your life for a meaningful conversation. Maybe it's engaging in something that brings you personal joy. Maybe it's just offering a kind word or helping hand to someone in need.
There's so many possibilities. The key is to be intentional, to consciously bring more joy and positivity into the world. Remember, even small actions can create a ripple effect.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
it's powerful. Just that act of listening,
Yeah.
it can be transformative.
Right.
We often, I think, underestimate the power of active listening. Just putting aside
Yeah.
our own perspectives for a moment
Yeah.
and just really absorbing what that other person is saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both the words and the emotions behind them.
Absolutely.
That can be profoundly impactful.
It is. It's not always about offering those solutions or advice,
Right.
but just creating a space where they feel safe to express themselves
Yeah.
openly and honestly, especially for young men who are often taught to suppress their emotions.
Right.
This can be so empowering.
It all comes back to, I think, nurturing emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Equipping them with the tools
Yeah.
to understand and manage their emotions
Yeah.
in healthy ways
Yeah.
so they can navigate life's complexities
Yeah.
with, greater resilience and empathy.
It's so important. And it goes beyond words.
absolutely.
We need to lead by example.
Yeah.
We need to embody these qualities that we want to see in these young men. Joy, resilience, positivity, compassion.
I couldn't agree more. Our actions really do speak volumes.
They do. Children are incredibly perceptive. They pick up on those attitudes and behaviors.
They do.
Even the subtle ones.
Yeah, if we want them to embrace joy, we need to radiate it ourselves.
Right.
If we want them to be resilient,
Yeah.
we need to show them how to bounce back from setbacks.
Yeah.
And if we want them to be positive, we need to cultivate that outlook in our own lives.
It all comes down to that age-old wisdom. Be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with us. And that brings us back to your thought-provoking question from earlier.
Oh, yeah.
What simple action can we take today to cultivate more joy in our own lives or inspire it in others?
It's a question that deserves some careful consideration. Perhaps it's reaching out to a young man in your life and engaging in a meaningful conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe it's pursuing an activity that brings you personal joy and sharing that passion with others. Or maybe it's as simple as just offering a kind word or helping hand to someone in need.
Yeah, the possibilities are endless. The key is to be intentional.
Yeah.
To consciously make that effort to bring more joy and positivity into the world. And remember, even the smallest actions can create a ripple effect,
It really can.
spreading outwards, touching countless lives.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I just want to leave you with this final thought. The world needs more young men who are not just capable, but also compassionate, empathetic, and brimming with joy.
Yeah.
And let's work together to create a world where they can flourish and inspire future generations.
Beautifully said. And to all of our listeners out there, thank you for joining us today on this journey of inspiration. And remember, you have the power to make a difference. Go out there and spread some joy.
I love it.
All right, that's it for us. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Sounds good.